Good morning, Americans and humans. This is your favorite alien. Today, Friday, April 7th, 2023. It's Good Friday here in America. And I like the way the Americans call it Good Friday. Was there anything good? There's one guy out there that can tell you, hell no. He had a hell of a day that day. And you know who he was. And he created teachings that are still around today. But some of the teachings that he created have been compromised today that he would look at you 2,000 years today and say, what the heck have you done with my teachings? Was he Christian? No. But you guys created a religion out of him. Was he Jewish? Yes. But the Jewish didn't like what he was thinking. Well, the Jewish don't like what a lot of people are thinking because it's non-kosher. That's why they are a small religion, because they consider themselves an enclave, and they're like the Hindus. If you want to be a Hindu but you're not an Indian, you have to join the Baha'is. Religions have a lot in common that you don't understand because you don't look at them. I did. When I came to this planet, I made sure I wanted to know what the heck you humans were doing. And trust me, a few Tylenols later, I'm a little still saying, what are these humans doing? They don't understand up from down, sideways, and left and right. You don't understand anything, let alone comprehend. Easter, because a lot of religions do not have actual basis in fact, but some cases they do, like Christianity does, but it's got strange facts that you have to look at them closely and say, okay, yes. Did Jesus speak facts? Yeah. And if you look at Jesus the way I do from an extraterrestrial point of view, which I am, I must admit he must have been from another world because he's explaining stuff to you guys that you guys didn't comprehend at the time. And you still don't. He came from a higher society. And the way that your Bible describes Jesus, I would suspect him of being what you call today a hologram, a living hologram. My society has developed holograms that are three-dimensional. You can touch them, you can smell them, you can do anything with them. But they are not humanoid, they are holograms. You can kill them, but you can still bring them back. And that's the part that concerned me when you brought them back, because that is the part that kind of scared me. And the story that's told in your Christian Bible of him resurrecting Lazarus, that's not beyond even my society's capabilities. We have the capability of extending life, but not bringing people back to life. It means that Lazarus still had some life in him, okay? And you can do that. But there's a point in a human body where you cannot do it. We have technologies that you don't have. And I'm assuming that Jesus, coming from wherever he came from, had technology that he could do this. Okay? And the Jews, on their religion of Judaism, when they were going through the desert, always say yes. That God gave them the means to sustain themselves in the desert with a machine that made manna. You have just started to explore those type of machines in science fiction, and you're becoming science fact. Another 25, 30 years, and you'll have a machine that'll be like Star Trek's replicators, where you can actually go to it and say, "Can I have a pot roast, please?" And it'll give you a pot roast just like you ordered it. Bing! Right there. And like I said, your technology is only like 25 or 30 of your years away from that right now, if not soon. A lot of things in Star Trek you have done, and they are now science fact, not science fiction. Jesus is both science fiction and science fact. Was he human? No. Was he a Terran? No. But he did try to do something, and he violated the prime directive of any advanced civilization. Do not interfere with lowercase civilizations. They have to find their way. If they destroy themselves, well, yes. We adhere to that doctrine. It wasn't ours. It was there millennia before our civilization was born. And we found it. 25 people adhered to it. That became the foundations of our civilization today. Our ancestors didn't take kindly to it, just like you don't take kindly to anything outside of being Jewish or anything outside of being Christian. We don't take it because this is the only fact around. Really? There is no such thing as 100% fact. You can say it's 100% right now. Just like for centuries you say you couldn't fly. Yet you had to change everything about you because you became the Wright brothers and flight. Or when you invented the train, when you invented the submarine and the space flight, how did you reconcile your religion that you are going outside of the Earth's atmosphere? You have to reconcile the dogma or doctrine. But you haven't reconciled Christianity. You haven't reconciled Judaism. You haven't reconciled Islam or Shinto or Hinduism to any of these issues. And that's cost you the stop and start of your civilizations. Easter was put in by the Christians in 325 AD on their first council of Nicaea. Christmas became later in 378 AD. But you needed to have points of Jesus Christ's life. The beginning point and the end point. And you didn't have any dates of those at all. You don't have any dates, anything about Jesus Christ. Because like I say, he's a hologram and he can go anywhere he wanted. Now, Easter is an old pagan, as you call it, festival that centers around the equinox, the March equinox, or the rebirth equinox. And the other equinox is the death equinox in September. You got two solstices, the winter and the summer, December and June. And you got two equinoxes, the March and the September equinoxes. The March is the rebirth, or as you call it, resurrection, is what the Christians use the word to resurrect Jesus Christ. They took that festival because it applied to their vision of their master. He had to come back from the dead. He was resurrected. The Earth comes back from the dead in the northern and southern hemisphere, different times of the year. But they, being in the northern hemisphere, took the equinox of March, okay, and made it, because in the northern part of the planet, you human beings record this as resurrection of the earth. The cold goes away, the heat comes on, the grass turns greener, you can plant and you can bring all these stuff to life, flowers start blooming, everything is resurrected. This is why the Catholic Church in 325 AD, which was the sect that Emperor Constantine picked up, and there was over 200 sects, more than you have today in Christianity. And one of the first things they had to do was you had to get our boss time here. A to B, beginning to end, and we don't have a time for each one. So let's make this the equinox when he got killed. The birth, well, we haven't decided yet, and it took them another 50 years to decide on this winter solstice area. So they picked December 25th because there was another festival going on there that celebrated birth. Okay? Do you get me, humans? And that's not degrading Christianity. That's just saying this is the way it is. It borrowed. It had to. It had to bring itself into respectability. The Judaism had to bring itself into respectability. The Judaism that existed around Jesus Christ's time is not the one that's there today, because you had to bring the Torah and all the other stuff on the Jewish religion, and you got a lot of sects in Judaism. For a small religion, Judaism, you are more splintered than Christianity is. And that's saying a lot. Islam is splintered. Hey, they say, oh, we only got the two splits in Islam. Really? So you got the Sunnis and the Shiites, right? But those are splintered even more. Look at Saudi Arabia. It's a Sunni guy, and Iran is a Shiite. But you look at those two countries, and they're splintered up to the wazoo, because the Saudi Arabians have Wahhabism in them. And the Iranians up here, because they're not Arabic, the founding race of Islam, they are Eli's, and they've been around longer than the Arabs. The Arabs and the Christians all can trace their lineage to Ur and Abraham. Yahoo! You get my point? Okay? So, this is what I'm saying, humans and Americans. You got all these splinters up there. And any religion that you see on this planet had to adapt itself to the changes. Judaism had to adapt itself to the numerous changes, the numerous non-traditional effects that the Jews had to go through, or people like Christians and Muslims and Hindus and everybody else. The Hindus had the same thing. Heck, they had the Muslims invade them and it became the Mongols. In China, you have a lot of religions in China. Taoism is probably the best known of them. Japan, Shinto. India, Hindu. But you got a lot of other religions. You got Sikhs, and they're not seeking the way you and me are. We seek, yo! No, they do something else. But that's a religion in its own right, outside of Hinduism. And they got people that want to be Hindus, but hey, you gotta be Indian, so we got Baha'is. And I got a lot of those in my home country of Panama. You see, Americans? But it's gotten to the point where now you develop your societies that you can't adapt the changes into your society or your religions. And that's causing you to disintegrate as a human race, to go into extinction. Because you don't understand the writings of any of your religions. You don't understand Christianity's Gospels associated with Jesus, and all three of them, and none of them are the same. So how can you write three different Gospels about the same guy? That's like you having Randall Hearst write a newspaper and saying, okay, we had this, how do we write about Jimmy Hoffa? You newspaper here in San Francisco, the Examiner, doing it one way. The Washington Post, say that was one of his. Over here on the East Coast, write it another way. And the Chicago Sun-Times, in the middle of the country, we write it this other way. And that's what you have. So what I'm saying, on this Easter Friday, where there's one thing that Jesus said that is right, I am the truth. If you understand me, you understand yourself. But you mistook what he said about sins. Because Donald Trump says, I don't have to worry about that. Jesus Christ already said he's died for my sins. So I'll commit them, and as soon as I do, it's wiped off the face of the earth because he already died for them. So I'm clean as a whistle, and I don't have to take a bath. Yahoo! See what I mean? It's things like that, humans and Americans, that you got to look at. You got to decide yourselves. And there's stuff about Christianity that's good. There's stuff about Islam that's good. There's stuff about Judaism that's good. If you can sit down and form and bring that into your new society, bring law and order that's good into your new society, what it's going to be perfect? Either way, no. I would advise you not to bring a lot of religion into it because we had to eliminate ours. It caused us a lot of problems in my society. Did we forget about it? No. We still teach our young about our ancestors and the way they looked at things. You don't do that here. And therefore, it's causing you problems. This is your favorite alien saying, it's your choice, humans and Americans. Disintegration and extinction is your choice. Or do you want to form a better form of government, as Abraham Lincoln would want you to do, and stay alive? You got friends out there. If you could just reach your hands out and said, help! But you don't show any help. You don't show your society to be changing. And we don't need that kind of dangerous thinking that you have on this planet outside of it. There's a lot of societies out there that are already out there that we have to deal with. We don't need to deal with another one. Good day.